What do I want to make sure? Loan, I think that goes without saying. You just take the down payment away from the price. This price will already include taxes, okay? So maybe I'll just make an arrow here. Includes taxes. So normally, all of the taxing and all that has already happened. It's already figured out. You take that price, you take away the down payment. The down payment is obviously what you saved up, right? You want a $10,000 car. After taxes is like $12,000. You saved up 5, take that away. Take the 5 away from that. And then you go ahead to the bank and say, hey, I need the rest, right? What will be 12 minus 5? 7,000. You still need to borrow 7,000. You go to the bank and say, hey, I need 7 grand, and they'll charge you a certain amount, okay? So obviously this table rate is on page 32. However, you're not going to get this booklet on a test or an exam. So I give you a table. The province gives you a table. If they don't give you a table, they will literally say this much dollars per $1,000 of loan. Like they'll give you this in a sentence, okay? So this is what I would like you to add, not the interest rate. I just marked a few exclamation marks. I just marked like 70 exams, like just weeks, like a week and a half ago. And a lot of students put the interest rate in here. It's not the interest rate, right? So don't, like, I would say that is worth putting in, because remember, it's going to be months from now where you use this on your study sheet perhaps, right? So that is a note there. This line here is very rarely do I use this. It's not very often that it just asks you, hey, how much to pay the bank? This is not very popular. But it is. It has come up. This one, on the other hand, extremely popular, right? Total interest paid, which is called a finance charge. I would have both on my study sheet. It's payment times 12 months. So this is basically how much you pay them for a year, this part right here. And then you just multiply that by the number of years. So it's like 3 numbers multiplying. So this is how much you paid them basically. And then you subtract the loan. This is what you got from them. So this number that you have here, that will usually follow you and come in here when you subtract it to figure out how much interest did you pay them in total. Then the next part, very important, this one right here. I did write interest rate as a percentage, and as soon as you have percentage, you need to divide it by 100. Some students double divide. Okay, so this is what I mean by that. If it's 6% and you divide that by 100, that would be 0.06. That's it. So some students do this automatically because that's what we've been drilling you this whole time. Turn it into a decimal, turn it into a decimal. Some students divide it by 100 again when they plug it into this formula. Please don't do that because you're double dividing by 100. Your payment will be, this will be ridiculously low. Like it won't make sense, okay? So that's another note. So that's what goes in here into this little bracket here. And it's the interest rate. This is the payment for what? The interest for what? Say it to yourself right now. I know you don't want to speak out loud, like why would you do that? But it's the first month. Only the interest you pay on that first month's payment. That's what this formula is, not the total interest. This is how much you paid in the entire loan. This is just 1 month. And from this I'm going to use a different color. Once you calculate the interest, right? Then we take our payment and subtract that interest from our payment to figure out how much is principal. How much of the payment is actually going towards your loan. And so every time you have a payment, it has pi in it. I don't know. I'm trying to make it stick, all right? So every payment is blended with principal and interest. Have you heard of this before, this concept here? Some of you have, okay? Very important. Every payment, like let's say you're like, you go to the bank and they give you a payment. Don't write this part down, please. They say, hey, your payment is $490 every month. Did you know that every single month is actually broken up into, I'm just giving an example. It's probably that $450 is going towards your loan the first month, and $40 goes to their pocket every single month. The next month comes by, you owe a little less. So you might pay $460 towards the loan, and they take $30 off of you for interest. What does this add up to every time? $490, right? So this is happening in the background. Do you remember amortization tables? For some of you, it's been a while. Don't panic. I'll teach you all that. Don't worry about it. But I'm just trying to connect things here. But every payment has both of these components in it. Okay? Every month, this bar shifts over a little further over this way. So enough talking, Mr. Dirksen. Just give me the example. I don't want to hear this. I hear you. I'm going to leave this one blank. I'm not going to have total paid for the car, although I tell you what it is, but I'm not going to give you a formula for that. This is important. I would have this on my study sheet as well. Sometimes the province wants to see, do you understand what's happening? Do you understand what's happening when you finance stuff, right? At the end of the day, folks, this is what the total cost to purchase a car would be. The sticker price plus any taxes minus any down payment plus the interest, right? So this is what it really comes down to. That's what the bank does. They're like, what's a sticker? Let's add taxes. Take away the down payment if you have one. Let's add the interest that we're going to charge you. And so this is how they figure out your payment. The payment is the total cost of your purchase divided by the number of months. I'm going to tell you this. If you're panicking right now, this is rare. But they have given scenarios where they gave students all of this separately and then said, hey, find the payment. And students were like, payment. They looked up this formula and they're like, okay, I got it. Price minus down, I got that part. But they're like, I don't have a table rate, Mr. Dirksen. How can I do this? That's where you drop this one. You can't use it. You have to refer to this, the orange part. Okay? Where you just take the total cost, like after doing all of this, you just divide that by the total number of months, and voila, you got your payment. Okay? What's the only thing that's subtracted here is the down payment. Taxes and interest is always added. It adds to the amount that you owe them. Okay? So, let's do an example here. To be honest, the orange part, I don't have an example for it here. I will have to make one up later on. We'll add it to our notes. 28. I will just do one and then I'll let you do some work, okay? This one has no down payment. So, quite often actually, there is no down payment. But if there is one, you know what to do. You subtract it. It says here, 28, okay? You're with me. You need to borrow a total of $31,500 to buy a new car, okay? I will just make a note, includes taxes. So if they don't say it, sometimes they will say it, sometimes they don't, but don't be adding taxes to these questions unless they ask you to do so. And the dealership offers you a 5-year loan rate, so you know it's over 5 years, at a rate of 3.5%. There's no down payment. Calculate the monthly payment. Okay? So my payment is the price minus down times table rate divided by, is it 100? Is it 1,000? It's 1,000, right? Please make sure you do that. You check your study sheet right now and you know that this is 1,000. You know what the other hint is? What does it say on this table? Monthly payment per 1,000. So that's where you know this is 1,000, all right? So all of these numbers are per $1,000. So let's do this. 31,500 minus 0. I know you're thinking that's pointless. I know. Do it anyways because I can't tell you how many times students are like, Mr. Dirksen, there's no down payment. What do I do? I can't help you, right? On the exam test, I cannot help you. So it's just 0. Just omit it. This gives you a mark. If you have to get a table and grab a number, you get a mark automatically for that step. So what do you need for this table rate? You need to know the number of years. We know it's 5, correct? 5 years. And we need to know the interest rate. And the interest rate is 3.5 right here. Okay? So you're just going to match, right? We're going to match. Where do they meet? Where does the column meet the row? And it's 18, 19 in this case. So that, I'm going to use a different color for that one, or just a highlighter. That'll work, right? That is the one we want. So put the 18, 19 in here. This, I'd like you to do this, always calculate what that is. 31,500 minus 0, guess what? That's 31,500, and we call this the loan. Okay? That is our loan. That's how much we're going to borrow. So let's figure out our payment. So it's 31,000. How did your teachers probably told you do the brackets first, correct? So it doesn't hurt. Let's go 1819 divided by 1,000. And then you multiply that by whatever is up front, which is 31,500. Sorry, what did I do there? Times 31,500. So that is your payment right there. 572 point, what would we round that? This you would lose half a mark right there, because money has to be, that would be 572.99. This is the rounded correct answer. So the 5 bumps that to a 9. Okay. So this is per month. All of our payments are per month, okay, in this course. I know that bi-weekly is probably the most popular because most of us getting paid every 2 weeks. But in this course, we only do monthly payments. Okay. Can I just say, because of your note, these are for your notes, right? This part right here, sometimes they say that you pay $18.19 per $1,000 of loan. That is honestly sometimes what the question will have just written in it. So you know if this is written that they're essentially giving you this part. There's no need for a table in that case. I'm going to give this a color of some sort. Sticks out. Can't say that I didn't tell you, right? Moving on. Determine the total amount paid back to the bank in 5 years. This is this part, total paid to the bank, which is your payment times 12 months times the number of years of this particular loan. So I know it's $572.99. I multiply by 12 always. And in this case, it's 5 years, correct? So you just go times 5. Don't forget your dollar sign. You can do it all in one shot, or you can do two numbers, then the third. It doesn't matter. What's wrong with that? It needs 2 decimals, and it's money. Okay, it's annoying, I know, but they do take half a mark off. So if you don't want to lose half a mark, just make sure your money always has 2 decimals, and then you're fine. Okay. So this is paid to the bank. How much did they borrow you? 31,500. You ended up paying back 34, so it kind of makes sense, right? You always pay back more than what they gave you. I'm saying this because sometimes this is a small number, and you should be able to catch it if it's not more than what you borrow. Next, what's the total interest paid? This is also called the finance charge. They're charging you to finance it. That's what interest is. Total interest. You got to go payment times 12 times years minus the loan. All right, so 572.99 times 12 times, we are talking 5 years, correct? It could be a 3-year loan, a 2-year loan. It doesn't matter. You got to watch out and make sure you put the right number in there. Minus the loan. I always tell my students, go get it from here. Like whatever, when you subtract the price and the down payment, that is your loan. So it's 31,500. Do this part first where you multiply. I'm going to just cheat and I know that adds up to this. I already did the math for this portion. So 34,379.40 minus 31,500. I'll just give you the answer. 2,879.40. So it cost you almost $3,000 to finance, right? And you might say, well, I needed the car right there, right? You needed to go to work, whatever. So you're like, I just need to pay interest, right? To make things work. I pay interest on my car. I pay interest on my house because I need it now, right? I don't have the money to pay the whole thing at once. But it would be nice if you could do it to save yourself. This could be in your pocket if you had saved it up, right? So next, the total amount of interest, sorry, no, not the total, right? The interest and principal paid on, this is very important, the first month. They want the interest and the principal. So we're going to figure out the interest first on that first month's payment. It calls for the loan, interest rate, divided by 100, all of that divided by 12. This is I equals PRT, that's where this comes from. The loan is 31,500. The interest rate is 3.5%. So you just take the 3.5, just put it over 100, and you don't need the percent sign. All of that divided by 12. So here we go. I'm going to hold that a little bit, because sometimes this gets, you make a mistake just because I'm rushing here. So I'm just going to say, let's divide that by 100, and we get this. Do not round. Use all decimals. And then you grab your calculator and just go this times that divided by 12, sorry. Divided by 12. So watch this, it's 9188. interest on first month. And how much is your principal? Principal is the amount that actually goes towards your payment. It's payment minus the number you just calculated, this one. So take your payment minus 91.88. It's 481.11. So these two combined make up your payment, but now you broke them down. It's kind of like what happens behind the scenes. This is the bank takes the, think of them just shaving off a little bit from your payment. They're like, oh, thank you very much. They put it in their pockets. And then this goes towards paying off your loan, which starts off at $31,500. So the first month, it only comes down this much. This happens, guys, every single time. Very important to know. Okay, enough talking. If you need a table, folks, it's on page, I'm going to verify this. Come with me to 29 here just real quick. The table is, let's find it. Yes, it is actually still on page 32. So there's a payment table here. 5 years at the top. Interest rate goes from 3% all the way down to 12%. Okay. Hopefully nobody gets a loan with an interest rate higher than that. So I want you to work, I want you to do 29 and 30. Let's do that, those two for now. Can I just warn you on page 30, read carefully. Read all these bubbles before you start solving on page 30, okay? Because I do make you add taxes on that one, just in case the province does something funny, okay? So 29 and 30 for now, and then I'll see how it goes. Just whenever I find some time, I just throw it in there. So page 30, real quick, just going over. You're buying at a dealership, so automatically you might wonder, where's my sticker price, all of that, right? Is it new or used? It doesn't matter in this case because regardless, you're getting taxed 12%, right? I hope you understand that at this point. So this is your price after tax. The loan required is simply taking away the down payment from the price after tax. So this is how much you need to borrow. So the monthly payment then is, right, taking the loan, multiplying it by a table rate, which you found. So it's 271.07 rounded. And then it says total paid for the vehicle by the end of the 5 years. Is this what you guys have? But the first part you have, right, is exactly, okay. I remember changing this. Give me 1 second. I'll recoup, hold on. Is the key is posted though, right? Or is it off? I'm guessing the key is off then. Hold on. This is now on YouTube and I can't undo it. All right. The amount paid for the vehicle by the end. So this just, I believe that, yeah, this is technically, this is the one rare case. Total paid for the vehicle is your down payment. You paid that out of your pocket. And everything you paid the bank, which is TPB. Okay? So it's these two amounts that ends up being the total you paid for the vehicle at the end of the 5 years. Does that make sense? Say it one more time. Like look at it this way. If this is your monthly payment, right? You're making those for 5 years. That is essentially that payment times 12 times 5 years, right? So this is how much you will have paid the bank over 5 years. But remember, you also, out of your pocket, you had that $1,800 that you saved up for. So that's the added piece where you need to add the down payment. I will usually say including the down payment. That's usually what I do on the test. Okay. Let's move on. How much money in interest a loan was paid? That's the total interest. That's where you use the total paid to the bank. I already figured it out. Minus the loan. Where did I get the loan from? A bunch of places. B had the loan. I used it here, right? So that is how you get your total interest. Total paid to the bank minus the loan. Boom, you get it there. How much interest was paid on the first month? Again, I take the loan times the interest rate divided by 100. All of that divided by 12, so it's 77.44. I didn't ask you for principal here, so just leave it. Or did I? I think I did. If you add optional equipment, which costs $1,500, state the sticker price of the car. So I don't know if you remember, but you take the original price of the car, add the options, that's your sticker price, no taxes. Okay, sticker price does not have taxes on it. So a little bit of a review. I'm mixing things up a little bit. If you made a mistake, guys, always see it this way. I'm learning. I much rather you make a mistake here and there, having done the work, than not doing any work and not even knowing what to look for. Okay. Here's where I want you to, page 31. I'm just going to ask you to have a couple of things on page 31. So just write these down. Okay. If I ask you, if the province asks you, how can you reduce or lower the total interest that you will have paid? Okay. One of the ways is reduce the term of the loan. So you go 3 years versus 5 years. Okay, so you tell your bank, no, I don't want a 5-year loan, I want a 3-year loan, right? So that's how you save on interest. This is also on the key, by the way. So if the bell beats us, then you know where else to get it. You can make additional payments. You can tell the bank, hey, set up another payment for $100 a month in addition to the one I'm already making. I actually did that with my car. The latest car I bought, I'm like, you know what? I want to pay it off faster. So just take off another $50 from my account every month, add it to the bill. You can make a larger down payment, right? You owe them less, you'll save money on interest. You can negotiate or find a lower interest rate if you can, right? If you're able to do that, you go for it. And make sure you have a heading on your study sheet. What is this? What is this? What does it do? It lowers the total interest paid. Very important. So the province has done this, right? Like, Jamie, right, is borrowing some money. Suggest one way Jamie can save on the total interest paid. You should know, oh, well, Jamie could reduce the term of the loan, right? Instead of going for a 5-year, go with a 3-year loan. Boom, you got the mark, just like that. Jamie could make extra payments, additional payments, come up with a larger down payment. Anything like that is acceptable in those cases. Second part. However, like this one doesn't save you money, by the way, guys, necessarily reducing your payment. You can increase the down payment Well, that would save you money for sure. Secondly, make sure you write this down before you go today, okay? Increase the term of the loan. So you actually tell the bank, no, I want a 5-year loan versus a 3-year loan. You're actually saying, I want to take longer to pay it off. The longer you take, the smaller your payments are going to be. But you're going to pay for it, guys. The longer you take to pay something off, the more interest you pay. And you can negotiate or find a lower interest rate. Maybe I'll just leave maintenance for another day because you are thinking of the weekend. That's what you're thinking of.